presentation is provided to you to amuse or entertain and not to conform or inform. The content on this channel should not be used to replace professional, financial, medical, or legal advice. All footage taken and used from public sources falls under the Fair Use of the Digital Millennial Copyright Act of 1998. Therefore, no breach of privacy or copyright has been committed.
The grid was hot. It was a grid meltdown. As you can see, the buildings on the grid started to become superheated and hot. The entire ground was hot and began to melt and flood with red brick. Like look at the red brick here turning into like balloon rocks here. And again, look at the brick down here, right in the middle of this possible chimney, whatever it is. The red brick just starts balloon rocking and expanding from the heat and forming what looks like blocks. Look at the brick here, and on the right, we see this distinct difference in what happened to the brick here. This was red brick here. You can see what's left of the red brick here. But the rest of it, the red brick, has been destroyed. Look at it. Nothing but melted building. Underneath here, the red brick, and then you can see how the concrete molds has flowed over the red brick here. A rock curtain, what we call a rock curtain. Here, the red brick and the heat starts to expand outward so much that it starts to pop out of the wall. Called out a popcorn brick. See how it's just, the heat's making it want to just pop out of the wall. It's so hot. It's hard to describe this event. What can do this to red bricks like this? It's amazing to see this action. You have the red brick here. It's not really being affected until right here. It starts turning it up, and then over here, the brick looks like it's just trying to get out of the wall, It's like, let me out of here, That's what I get. I mean, look at these bricks. They're like, let me out of here. They're just getting churned up here into, yeah. Here, damaged red brick. Here, the brick has begun to melt together and pancake together. What I like to call pancake bricks. See how they're coming together here? Brick lines coming together. Of course, it's usually this way, though. But look what happened to the brick. Again, the brick looks like it's trying to get out of the hell out of there. Excuse me. Again, it looks like the bricks are trying to get out of the wall underneath. And the molds over it, damaged, destroyed, damaged. Here you can still see some of the red brick underneath the concrete molds. The old world had many different looking cool beings, statues depicting them. Here, what we see is the red brick being crystallized, an up-close picture of damaged red brick by the X Factor event. Here, the red brick is being looking concrete color over the red brick. More damage to the red brick and the concrete that was over it. Beautiful concrete mold designs over already the beautiful red brick design. Just incredible. Look how they put this concrete over the red brick here. Look at the design here. And wait till you see this. Look, this is looking down from above. That's the same building looking down. The concrete molds over the brick are still intact there. At the bottom, you can see that the red brick is a lot more damaged than up here, because it was hotter down there. The grid was hot. It was a grid meltdown. As you can see, the buildings on the grid started to become superheated and hot. The entire ground was hot and began to melt and flood with red brick. Here, the red brick, the color's been cooked out in the different blocks of the red brick that it was cooked into. Here you can see the color has been cooked out and it's white instead of red. Whoops. Here you have just damaged what was once glorious and beautiful. You have damaged red brick, and the upgraded concrete molds over the red brick is damaged as well. Here the red brick has been cooked into this stone because it gets hot at the bottom. The grid meltdown was hot from the bottom. Here the red brick with some partial upgrades. Well, I think it's just, that was just been blown away. It's probably all had the white concrete over the molds here and the red brick. I mean, just incredible, interesting looking molds. Just very detailed over the red brick. Just was glorious back in the day. Look at the different looking beings. Again, perhaps depicting some of what some of the beings looked like in the old world. Notice the ear here, and then notice the more elfy looking ear here, and this kind of dude looks kind of like an elf or something, kind of look like from a movie or something. Oh, this is the Great Wall of China, but it's not a wall. It's the top of a building. It's a walkway. Both sides of the building are damaged almost all the way up to the very top, as you can see here. And again, what can do this to red brick and melt it like it's ice cream? The X Factor event. Everywhere you look, damaged red brick. Again, the carbon gets squeezed out here. You're seeing heat trying to expand and escape, frozen in time. Here you can get a close-up of, you have the original shaped square of the red brick, and it's been just mangled. Look what happened to the brick. Expanded out, cooked out, color cooked out. You see the mortar in between the brick still. Here you can see the red brick was, they had placed, concrete, upgraded to Terry concrete molds over the red brick. And sometimes not just mold, they also spread the concrete smooth over it a lot of the times to give it a smooth, straight look, concrete look, if you will. But it's all red brick, and it's all damaged at the bottom here. Look what happened to the red brick. What can make these tiny little bricks here turn into these bigger bricks? And then the color gets cooked out here, color getting cooked out here. Again, you see the concrete that was over the red brick damaged and gone. See the concrete just falling off, and then the red brick getting cooked into these bigger blocks here. The top, you can tell, still a building here. Here, look what happened to the red brick, just dripping, melting like butter and ice cream. I mean, look at the melting here. You have what was you can clearly still see the brick lines. Some of the colors getting cooked out of these hotter bands. You can see these brick lines, and then the concrete, upgraded concrete to Terry molds that have been attached over the red brick is just melting down and into the red brick together. It's just incredible evidence of the damage from the X Factor event. And here is what interesting is, you have the red brick, and then the carbon 14 looks like it's just getting squeezed out into like a liquid viscous, and then it looks like it gets crystallized or vitrified. It's incredible, the damage. Here you have the red brick, and then the red is being cooked out and it looks whiter, red to white here, and then further to the right, the red brick has been just melted into, a little more heat, and that would look like a Rocky Mountain, Here, the carbon 14's been squeezed out of the brick and then vitrified, crystallized. This was all red brick, and it looks like crystal now, but it was red brick. Here you can see damage to the red brick, the melting, the damage. Just the steps have been cooked into these blocks instead of these little bricks. You can see a tiny what's left of the brick cooked into these blocks. And again, look at all this was hot and liquid and cooking these bricks into blocks. Look at the damage here. This was all super hot. Look at the wall here, how it was hot, and it starts to melt the bottom of the wall here because this was all hot here. Again, the bricks here, completely cooked. Completely cooked. You can almost see where it started to just turn into liquid here. From a solid to a liquid melting viscous flow. Again, more damage out of the brick. We call it mortar snot, if you will. My subscribers and I have coined that mortar snot because it seems to be more vulnerable to the heat than the red brick, and it gets squeezed out first. Notice at the bottom down here, it's melted the red brick. Here it's cooked the color and red carbon 14 color out of the brick, and it looks white. Here we see a beautiful red brick building, what was a nice red brick building. This is all that we have to tell that was a red brick building. That's all that's left. The cooler areas of the arches here, the brick has not been melted and turned into what people call a Rocky Mountain. But that's what all mountains are really buildings that have been melted and mangled and damaged and ruined by the cataclysmic X Factor event. Red brick. Again, look what happened to the red brick. It's literally just churning and being turned into mush here at the top here. Mortar snot is dripping out the side of the walls. Here we have a close-up of what happens to the bricks as they get churned up. Here the red brick, the mortar, red brick, and then look what happened to the brick. Look what happened to that brick. Look what happened to that brick. It just expanded the brick out. Here it just ballooned out like what we call a balloon rock. When the brick begins to become viscous and fluid, it becomes liquid and fluid, and the heat expansion is now able to, it gives way to the heat expansion and balloons out. And look what happened to the red brick here. It's been stretched out, ballooned out. This is what's left of the red brick. And again, this is going to be a really important time to realize that the idea of, slaves bringing blocks to the top of a pyramid is ridiculous. What you're seeing here is damaged red brick. It's all red brick. And then you see a clear, distinct difference of what happened to the red brick over here. Notice the difference from a more horizontal looking brick. Even though it's damaged, you can see it's more horizontal. Here, it's been turned into these really square, from horizontal to square blocks. And we'll get to that. But it's really important to understand that everything was built with red brick and that it has been damaged and cooked into block. Here, I'm going to show some incredible evidence of red brick being completely damaged and melted like ice cream. Here, this was flooded with melted liquid red brick. You have the red brick here. Notice how it's swelling up the bottom of and damaging the red brick. This is flowing like a liquid lava. The brick of the wall here is being churned up and cooked like a soup. Here you can see the black scorch marks from the heat and the damage from the bottom. The brick's getting churned up here. Again, look what happened to the red brick. This was all brand new, perfect red brick, and it looks kind of stony now because of the damage, the melting. It looks a little melty. Red brick. Didn't know red brick could melt like ice cream, huh? But you will see soon enough what happens to red brick when the X Factor event strikes. Look at the melting. It's just melting this red brick like ice cream. Look at the damage to the red brick. Here you can see what's left of the red brick. And again, here the brick is just swelling. It looks like it's just melting outward, heat's trying to escape.